It's being recorded.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Shannon Collier, and I am a grief counselor with Capital Caring Health out of the DC office. I'd like to welcome you all here with us today and just thank you for your presence. I am joined by some of my colleagues who will be sharing, and so many colleagues and volunteers and even community members who have contributed to this special event for tonight. And I just want to honor each and every one of us for all that we have experienced and gone through to be here today. This is an event to honor your grief and love, to honor and acknowledge the lives of your loved ones that you can no longer hold in your hands, but will always, always hold in your hearts. The last 2 years, we have all undergone personal and collective experiences we could not fathom. Life for each of us has transformed in so many ways. For those of you whose loved ones died during this pandemic, please know we are aware that many memorials and mourning opportunities where what you may have needed or wanted did not necessarily take place. We hope that today's ceremony can help meet any potentially unmet needs in that regard in some small way. The slide that you see before you right now is an overview of the program we are going to offer today. There are many wonderful pieces that we are proud and honored to be able to share with you. And just as a quick overview, I'm going to next talk about some of our technology. I ask for patience and grace. Going forward, I am definitely not an expert in this as much as I have used Zoom over the last few years. So there will be pauses between transitions. They are purposeful. We will get it back on order, but I just ask for your patience and grace during those times of transition. So we'll cover technology overview. We will have a centering moment of nature and song. Marcie Fairbanks, our Director of Family Services, will welcome everyone officially. And then we will have a meditation reflection from Reverend Goyen Clark, Chaplain out of the DC office. And then I will cover some of the message that we're hoping to share today about honoring your loved ones. During that period of time, we will invite you to share at the appropriate time through the Zoom chat. I will read your sharings and we will offer a musical response. We will also address and talk about what grief can teach us and even offer some real and concrete actions you and your family members can take. We'll have a lovely poetry reading, the poem The Dash by Reverend Julie Price, one of our chaplains out of the Adler Center. And then we will close with gratitude and thanks and even a question, is gratitude possible amid grief? So next, our technology overview. So as I mentioned, this is not necessarily my forte, but I am honored to be able to grow and learn along with you. I can't think of any event more worth my time and energy than this. So I am humbled to be here, and I might be humbled in the process, but I ask for your grace along the way. As far as sound goes, sound may vary, adjust to your comfort level. We have not been able to adjust all of our sound to be even, so you may need to either turn up or turn down your speakers. This event is being recorded in case you should, for some reason, lose connection. I think you're able to rejoin. If for some reason you are not, just know this event is recorded and you'll be able to access it at a later date. Audience members, attendees will be on mute so everyone can hear equally. Panelists, aside from myself, will be on mute when not speaking. Video audience members are not visible during the presentation. Like so many things in life, when there are only a certain number of people sort of in a space or place to share their perspective, not all voices and not all perspectives are fully represented. Just a limitation of the number of people we could include in this. We just want you all to know that Capital Caring deeply values inclusivity, and we did our best to touch on all sorts of different perspectives and different offerings within this program. However, we are also open to growth and change on our end, and we invite any sort of feedback at the end of this ceremony that anyone has about making the future ceremonies even more inclusive and even more accessible to everyone. So the next slide I'm going to share is a short video and song. One of the song actually is by one of our volunteers, which is a very special offering from their heart to yours. And during that time that this song plays, what I'm going to ask is for everyone to just center themselves, to feel, in your heart, to feel in your body that you're present with one another in this moment, and to just fall into sort of the sound of the music, into the image of the video, and to just let that pull you into a place of belonging together. After this video, again, Marcie Fairbanks will do an official welcome. And as I'm going to transition, just be patient if it doesn't go quite as smoothly as we hope. I love you, grateful. I'm alright. You live in me. I love you, grateful. I'm alright. You live in me. I'm alright. You live in me. I love you. You live in me. I love you. I'm alright. I'm alright. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Good afternoon. I am Marcie Fairbanks, the Director of Family Services here at Capital Caring Health. I would like to welcome you to our Ceremony of Remembrance for 2021. We are gathered together today to remember and to honor those lives we have lost. No matter how long ago your loss occurred, today is the day where you can reflect upon the love you have shared with those special individuals, and also the impact those individuals continue to have in your lives. Grief is a normal human expression, and to love deeply is to grieve deeply. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal, and love leaves a memory that no one can steal. Today is about creating this sacred time to help remind us all that we are not alone in our grief. We collectively create a community united in our emotional response to the loves we have lost. Each one of you is grieving in your own unique way, and that is okay. I hope today's special program will help each of you feel connected to others who are also grieving and to feel comforted as you navigate through your own unique grief journey. Now let's transition to our reflective moment with Reverend Goyen Clark.
Good afternoon, family. I am so honored to share in this space. I take it not lightly that I'm here to share and join you on this journey. As I do my work of chaplaincy, I have come to realize some key things along the way. I've come to realize, dear friends, and I have my prop here. This is actually a blade. On one side of this blade is the word love. And on the other side of this blade is the word grief. So if you started to think of this prop, this blade, as a two-edged sword, I want to pause right there. I want to have you pause right there, because to think of it as a two-edged sword or a blade is to say that when love was in motion, grief was not there. And to say when grief is in motion, love is not there. So think of this as grief and love as the sides of this blade. And so they're married, actually connected. And so when love was being forged, actually grief was actually present, but in the background. And it's by divine design. And I share that with you because it's important that you understand that the Creator has made provisions. Love is a gift, and so he has made provisions for the gift called love. And because they're intertwined, he has also made provisions for grief. It was Alfred Lord Tennyson that said this so eloquently. "'Tis better to have loved and lost, and never to have loved at all. It is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." And why is this? Because love touches the innermost part of us. We can call it the soul or the spirit. And it's important because life is actually riding on, the quality of life is riding on the number of touches to the soul and the spirit. And so love takes us down there and touches it, and it makes life vibrant. And so I agree. And right now it might be difficult to agree with the sayings of this poem, the sayings of this phrase that love is, it's better to have loved than lost right now. But you are here because you did life well. You loved well, and that's why you're here. But love touches the innermost parts of us. In the Christian scripture, it says that love is long-suffering, love is kind, love envies not, love is not puffed up, love knows how to behave, love is not easily provoked, thinks no evil, rejoice in the truth, bears all things, believe all things, endure all things. Love conquers all. And so as we think of all those things that we do when love is being forged, the first walk, the first kiss, the birth of a child, all those things are happening. The first date, the first hug, and love is being forged. Unfortunately, love comes with a timeline. And we say, why is there a timeline? The divine is in its infinite wisdom understand that without love, love is a part of a cycle, a circle that has to continue. And as a result, there is this timeline. Dear friends, dear family, I grieve with you. As a chaplain, I try to feel the pain that's in the room, and I feel the pain, the grief in this Zoom right now, and my heart goes out. But I want to leave with you as we reflect that love is all these wonderful things, and grief is exactly what you're feeling right now. And it can be expressed in so many different ways, and that is okay. That is okay. So as we reflect on love and grief, I want to leave you three things that I always try to leave with every family that I am privileged to sit down with. Love is a gift. It is a gift. Not many people experience this gift. So you are actually privileged to have experienced the gift of love. You did life well, and that is why, because it's intertwined with grief, you were invited to this session. And because love and grief are intertwined, dear friends, the divine made provisions for both of them. And so right now, even this session here is the divine making provision for the grief that you're feeling. And then the final thing I would like to leave with you is this. Grief is like the wind that comes unannounced. But my suggestion to you is that let grief actually be a friend. How is that possible, Chaplain? How is that possible? No, grief will not be a bosom buddy that you call, hey, come on over for dinner or this, I go out. Grief, when it comes, you can make it a friend by insisting that it does not beat you up to leave, to come back and beat you up again. I invite you to just smile with the grief because of the love that was shared. You can smile with it. Let it not beat you up. Experience it as you experience all the emotions. And then when it comes, and it becomes a friend, wherein that it comes and it's an occasion to now remember the love that was shared whenever it comes. Let it be a reminder of the love that was shared. So I sincerely hope that you will some way, somehow walk away from this session feeling the love from Capital Care and feeling the love from just that's in this space right now, because we do love you and we are grieving with you. I am so honored to have shared what I have shared, and I pray and hope that it will be a blessing to you. I turn this back over to you, Shannon.
Thank you so much, both Marcie and Goyen. It is an absolute honor and a pleasure to be not just your colleagues, but also your friend. What I'd like to do now is just talk about why we're here. talk about the meaning and purpose and gift and being able to honor our loved ones. I'm going to do some sharing about that, and then I'm going to invite you all to share about your loved ones in the chat box at the time that I share at Candleslide. So until you see that, if you could refrain from sharing, that would be helpful, and just listen and receive these words into your heart. So as a grief counselor, I, alongside many of my colleagues, have the unique experience of being introduced to your loved ones after their death. Through conversations with clients and listening to stories, we are introduced to so many people, and it is such an honor. In my own experience and the experience of my colleagues, we have met a grandfather who has a steadfast presence, unwavering towards his grandchildren over many, many, many years. There's a child whose innocent laughter echoes in the memories of the games that she played with her siblings. A brother's eyebrow raising side-eye as he sized up a new boyfriend. I think we could all imagine that if anyone has a brother out there. A mother's passion for justice and the weathered walking stick that she took on marches that she attended over many decades of her long and full life. A wife's deep faith and heartfelt commitment to her church and family, and even her joy in anticipation of meeting her maker. A father's playful and warm way of expressing love for his children through stories and games and wrestling on the floor before dinner. A sister's impeccable style and no-nonsense communication, always planning the next trip or adventure. Or a writer or musician or artist with pieces still left unwritten. While you may not realize it, you are in fact an ambassador to your loved one. Each time you share about them, when you share the things that they loved and the things you loved about them. And let's be honest, even when you share about the things that drove you crazy too. When you share about their lives and your lives together, you keep connection alive. You keep connection alive with them, and you connect them to others, and you connect yourself as well. My colleagues and I are, so grateful and honored to be able to work with people who share from their heart, share their tears. And some of the things they share is just the value and importance of sharing their loved one's memory, their legacy, their livelihoods. And they even continue to learn from and about their loved ones after their loved ones have died. It is so important to share about our loved ones to keep that connection alive. In a few seconds, I'm going to share a video of a candle with some accompanying music. And during the time that slide is active, I would invite each and every one of you who are here today to share the name of the loved one you are grieving and a couple simple things about them. Please note that we have quite a few participants, so to be mindful of the length of what you share in your chat, and recognize that I won't be able to read the sharings until the slide video is over, but at that time I will share what each of you have written. So if you'll be patient with this transition, we will get that slide going, and then we invite your sharing at that time. Almost there. Please don't be shy. Thank you all so much for your shares, and you're more than welcome to keep sharing. What I'm going to do now is open the chat and my screen so that I can see them all, and then I will read them aloud. I'm so grateful that each of you were willing to share your loved ones with us. So I see the first one that I see is Lynn, a husband of 50 years and a Capital Caring volunteer. Thank you for sharing about Lynn. Greg Moeller, best friend and wonderful father, loyal friend, lived an extraordinary life. And we are grateful for that. And I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any names. Mr. Stephen Daw, funny, smart, kind, and loving, together for 52 years since high school. That's pretty amazing. Petrona Ramos, a strong, kind, loving mom and grandmother. Liu Zhang, her love and the life, and our two boys as well. Petrona Ramos and Armando Ramos, incredible parents. We miss you every minute to the day. You have left a huge empty hole. Marcel Carlier, loved family and friends deeply. My soulmate forever. Corey Young, my youngest brother who died of congestive heart failure. At 65, he loved all kids and helped with the Pinewood, I'm trying to scroll, Derby and Franklin Farms Frogger Clubs and the Davidson women's basketball team. He had 5 kids. Oh, excuse me. One who died in utero. Thank you so much. He sounds like an amazing person. And Miss Charlene Charlene Davis McLean, a mother who in her quiet way shared her love and faith. Andy Cook, a loving husband, father, son, brother, uncle. He passed away at the age of 58 after a valiant 10 either month or year battle with pancreatic cancer. He was the kindest person I know. And he has left a huge hole in our lives, but we are doing our best to honor his memory by continuing to love and laugh. Our lives were full because he loved us. Gregory Mccauley, was my husband. I miss him every day. He loved his family and he loved his family fiercely and was a loving grandpa. Bear with me here. I'm just trying to scroll. My father's name was Benjamin Womack. He loved listening to gospel music and sang and played the guitar in his gospel group. I wish we had his music to share. The Mighty Songs of Joy. That's a wonderful, what a great group name. Genevieve Rose Mistel is my daughter's name. She passed due to cystic fibrosis. She loved to draw and always had a positive outlook, no matter how bad things got. That is definitely a gift. Today is 15 months since I lost my dear husband, Jim. He was funny, kind, loving. I often say that I still hear his humor, and that's definitely a gift. Fred Young, a good husband, father, and grandfather, died of COVID-19 on December 11th, 2020. Almost a year to his passing. Yes, indeed. Andy Cook, okay, he battled the disease for 10 months. Thank you so much for that clarification. Eric was an amazing husband, father, and human, loved and missed every moment of every day. Oh, thank you all so much for those sharings. And I know there are probably people out there that it may have even been too hard to even write about, too even hard to write the name because of the pain of grief. That pain that is so real and so searing and so hard to put words to, even if it's written, even if it's spoken. And so to each and every one of you, whether you were able to write or chose to write about your loved ones or not, what I'm going to do is screen share again, and we will offer a musical response to your grieving hearts. So again, just one moment of patience while I set that up. And again, this is a musical offering from one of our volunteers. We're so grateful.
May only love surround you. 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 May only love surround you.
And again, I hope that those vibrations of those words and the meaning there within reached each and every one of you in the places that are deep, in the places that are raw, and in the places that you could use a little hope and healing. I'm going to share a message a little bit with you that I know that you could share more with me. What we're going to talk about now is what grief teaches us, and I chose to focus on 3 tenets. The first being the uniqueness of persons, who each and every one of us are, with all of our quirks and idiosyncrasies and everything that goes along with each and every one of us. Grief also teaches us about our values, about what's important, and what matters to us, what matters to our loved ones. And grief often, if we're open enough, and I would say lucky enough, will also teach us about our humanity as well. So those are the things that I'm going to address right now. So the uniqueness of persons, when you were sharing, you shared so many different aspects of your loved ones. And I recognize I asked for, sort of a limited sharing given the number of people who are with us today. And I hope that you have places, and I will introduce another opportunity to share more about your loved ones later. What makes someone unique is so many things, right? Every single aspect of who they are, from their hobbies to their accomplishments, their challenges, their hopes, their personalities. Maybe that they collected matches from every restaurant that they went to. Maybe they loved baseball. The way that they looked at you when they were angry or tired or scared or hopeful. That one issue the two of you could never agree on. What made them laugh, what made them cry, their passions. And there's so many private and sometimes public battles and successes that make up the kaleidoscope, not just of a life, but of a relationship and of a family. Whomever your person was, in their absence, it becomes even more clear that there will never be another person just like them. They were, and we all are, absolutely one of a kind. Grief teaches us a lot about values. It teaches us about society, it teaches us about institutions, it teaches us about ourselves. Grief teaches us what matters to us and what matters to others. Grief teaches us often when we need to slow down, when we need to stop, to sit and be still. Grief teaches us about life, about what is worth our time and energy, and frankly, what isn't. Grief teaches us our emotions have important information to share with us about our lives, about our values, about our needs, and about our desires. Grief teaches us to not deny ourselves, our experiences, or each other. Grief, if we let it get all the way in, and it's really hard not to, teaches us also about our humanity. Grief teaches us that to be human is to encounter love and loss. It teaches us humility and vulnerability, strength, fortitude. If we are open to its teachings, grief can teach us compassion for our loved ones, for ourselves, and even our species. Grief teaches wisdom. Grief grows us in ways we would absolutely never choose, and yet somehow come to cherish. Grief is going to teach each and every one of us its special and poignant and important lessons. Some of them will be shared, and some of them will be unique to each and every one of us. One of the beautiful things about grief is that it does, in its own way, connect us, sometimes through transcendent means such as prayer, meditation, poetry, song, nature. Some of these tenets are what we're sharing with you today. The next thing I would like to share with you is a poem that is called The Dash. You might be familiar with it. And we have the privilege of one of our chaplains, Reverend Julie Price, chaplain from the Adler Center, who is able to share with us this poem today. So again, I ask for your grace as I make that transition to sharing that offering with you. Oh. We welcome Julie.
Hi, my name is Julie Price, and I'm the chaplain at the Adler Center for Caring with Capital Caring Health. And it's my privilege to be here with you tonight as we honor your loved ones. We hope that these words tonight, the music, everything brings some comfort to you. I have this poem I'd like to read to you. It's called The Dash, and it's written by Linda Ellis. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between the years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still can be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you lived your dash? Blessings to you all. Thank you.
That's such a beautiful poem and so poignant in so many ways. And we just hope that it reaches you again, like I said, in the places that matter most in this time for you. To that end, what I would like to share now is concepts of what you can do in your times of grief. So many aspects of experiencing grief, loved ones with terminal illnesses, unexpected deaths, injury, etc., are so far out of our own control. It can feel very debilitating and almost a sense of helplessness and very confounding and confusing. When life that you had trusted to be the way it's been changes so drastically. So a couple of the things that we have found and that research on grief and healing shows is that taking action is a way to feel some sense of control, some sense of empowerment and acknowledgement, to take control of what can feel like a runaway train by saying, no, not this. Let me take care of this one thing. So to that end, I'm going to share a few opportunities with you through Capital Caring Health. And at the same time, recognizing there are many, many opportunities out there in the world and in our communities at large. I'm aware some of you may be joining us from outside of our service area. So just recognize that even if you don't have access to our grief support services, one, we are grateful that you're here with us right now. We are grateful to be in community with you. And also that you do have hospice organizations near you that you can reach out to for grief support, in addition to many other national organizations and many, many other things online as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see a few opportunities that we have available to you. One quick second. Or maybe 2 quick seconds. Okay. So on this slide, you'll see Capital Caring Health and Tribute Lights have partnered, and we have a Tribute Lights Capital Caring site that's called a Tribute Wall. And on that wall, you can light a virtual candle, you can upload photos, share stories in memory of your loved one. Your tribute can shine brightly all year and be shared with family and friends. And you can forward this link on to others in your family, in your friend group, others who've lost loved ones who may not have had access to this ceremony. So please know that that is available, and if I set it up correctly, this will be included in the follow-up email that we'll send after the ceremony later, either today or next week. We also, as Capital Caring Health, offer grief support services. Our grief support services are accessible to anyone in our service area. The one exception is all of our memorial services. We are grateful to be able to offer those to anyone who has access to the internet. For our local grief support services, we do have grief education workshops, specialty holiday workshops, group grief support, individual counseling on a case-by-case basis, wonderful Point of Hope camp for grieving families and children. And all of our services do require intake assessment prior to services, aside from these ceremonies like today. You can see in the blue banner below 3 ways of contacting us and just tenets about our care. And because the holidays are coming up, we just wanted to highlight the following programs that are available. For more information on our website, you must register ahead of time. And again, these are for people in our service area. But just please know that we are with you during the holidays, and we do have spaces available in our upcoming workshop as well. So those are 3 simple things that you can do to take action on behalf of your grief, on behalf of your love. And I'm going to move on actually to close to our closing actually, and we are going to talk a little bit about whether or not it's possible to find gratitude amid grief. And like so many things in grief, this is an individual path. This is a journey that only you can take, and only you will know if and when it is possible for you. So I'm just going to plant the seed that gratitude in its simplest form is really just simply noticing and appreciating. What that means is it could be, a profound sense of peace in a moment of quiet. It could be remembering the loving way that you or a friend or family member or caregiver supported your loved one. It could be the outpouring of love or small gestures of support within your caring community for the time of your loved one's illness or in this time of grief for you. Could also be something, not between persons. It could be your appreciation of the angled light of a beautiful sunrise. Gratitude is what occurs when we realize the richness of a single moment. And the death of a loved one sears in our hearts the value of each of these moments. The longing we feel for just one more moment is evidence of the depth of our love and a physical expression of gratitude for our loved ones. Gratitude amid grief is absolutely not an omission of the depth of anguish, the hurt, the injustice of loss, and the confusion of grief itself. The way that gratitude can be viewed is as a solid piece of ground on which you can stand when the world around you is shifting or even falling apart. Gratitude amid grief can be a natural process of growth and unfolding. But like so many things in life that are natural, we can't rush it, and we can't make it be when it's not. Much like we grow and change and gain new abilities over time, over our lifetimes even, we can do the same with ingratitude and in grief. Like I said, we cannot force it. However, we can recognize and honor it when it happens. I sometimes with my clients like to talk about that grief is a lot like birth in some ways, that when we lose a loved one, we are reborn into a new world of grief that our former self belongs to, but this new self that we have that is birthed through grief emerges into. Like birth, we often counter grief in hours and days, in weeks and years. And some of you here today may really resonate with that. Or you may not. Some of you today may be newly born into grief, feeling scared, overwhelmed, and unfamiliar. You may feel like you're experiencing a limited natural ability to navigate the world in which you now find yourselves. It can be hard to find gratitude in these early days. The new world of grief can feel stiflingly small or overwhelmingly large. Others may have grown to find words to communicate, grief experiences and stand on solid legs to walk amid life and grief, adapting to your loss day by day. Still, others of you may have already incorporated years of grief into a reformed identity, combining multiple seasons of growth via grief, via meaning making, legacy work, claiming the power, presence, and opportunity of your love and your grief into your own life. Like in birth, each of us in grief are a testament to the natural unfolding of a human life. Each griever claims their own path and timeline, and no matter where you are in your grief, I hope and pray that you can trust that the various natural phases of growth through grief will occur for you. And in the times of challenge, please know that there is support along the path. And as a semi-final offering to each of us this evening, I would like to weave together basically the three sort of tenets that we've shared today. The honoring of your loved ones, the possibilities, the learning, the teaching, the what now of grief, and the potential hope of gratitude. In so doing, I found this amazing poem that I hadn't seen before that's called In Lieu of Flowers, and it is written by Shauna LeMay. And it's new to me, but you might be familiar with it. In Lieu of Flowers by Shauna LeMay. Although I love flowers very much, I won't see them when I'm gone. So in lieu of flowers, buy a book of poetry written by someone still alive. Sit outside with a cup of tea or a glass of wine and read it aloud by yourself or to someone, or even silently. Spend some time with a single flower, a rose maybe. Smell it, touch the petals, really look at it. Drink a nice bottle of wine with someone you love, or champagne, and think of what John Maynard Keynes said, quote, "My only regret in life is that I did not drink more champagne," unquote. Or what Dom Perignon said when he first tasted the stuff, "Come quickly, I am tasting stars." Take out a paint set and lay down some colors. Watch birds. Common sparrows are fine, pigeons too. Geese are nice, robins. In lieu of flowers, walk in the trees and watch the light fall into it. Eat an apple, a really nice big one, and I hope it's crisp. Have a long soak in the bathtub with candles, maybe some rose petals. Sit on the front stoop and watch the clouds. Have a dish of strawberry ice cream in my name. If it's winter, have a cup of hot chocolate outside for me. If it's summer, a big glass of ice water. If it's autumn, collect some leaves and press them in a book you love. I'd like that. Sit and look out a window and write down what you see. Write some other things down. In lieu of flowers, I wish for you to flower. I would wish for you to blossom, to open, to be beautiful. And my guess is you can think of your loved ones and what they would say to you in that poem of their own writing, of their own words. And my guess is that they would wish for you to flower, for you to blossom, for you to open, and for you to continue to be as beautiful as you are. I would next like to really just thank and give incredible gratitude and appreciation for the artists that participated in this ceremony. They're listed here. There were some who offered amazing music and beautiful scenery that we weren't able to include, but we hope to possibly include them next year. And so I just want to give acknowledgement to those people and to so many people who helped and put this production together. I would also like to just extend gratitude for your presence, for you being here, for your willingness to show up, for your honoring your loved ones, for your sharing them with us today, for the acknowledgement that it is still okay, not just okay, but really important to mourn and honor and grieve them, no matter how long it's been. I would also like to acknowledge Capital Caring Health staff who are present with us today. I'm grateful to work with an amazing team of not just professionals, but honestly, amazing human beings. Our entire grief counseling team, our nurses and doctors, our volunteers, volunteer managers, certified nursing assistants, our chaplains, social workers, admission and after hours team, administrative staff, managers, IT, and executive team. In their own way, they are all here with us today, whether they are actually logged in or out actually working right now. We are so incredibly grateful for each and every one of us and each and every one of you to be here right now. When we talk about the uniqueness of what it is to be human, what it is to love and grieve, none of us are exempt from that. If there's one thing I could offer and hope that you take care or take forward from this today is to care for yourself in the way that you cared for your loved ones, to see each and every person, whether they're someone that you agree with or not, whether you even like them or not, but to see them as the human being that they are and to know that they are so deeply loved by the people in their lives. And also, just to reiterate, we will be sending an email out as well after this is over with those actions you can take on your own behalf. Know that we are here also for references and for referrals and other resources, so do please know that we are a resource for you moving forward. Thank you all so very much for being here. And this closes our ceremony for today.